Hey, everybody, and welcome to another night of Women's World of Fishing Monday Night Takeover. I'm Barbara Harris, and this is Angie Scott. And it's
Hey.
been a while
Yeah,
since
it
you've seen
has.
us together. Angie, they saw me last week. They did
Yep.
not see you. And so you've been gone longer than me. What's been going on?
Yeah, just busy, traveling back and forth here and there. Last week I had a pretty bad head cold. Thankfully, that's all it was. I'm finally better as of
Good.
day before yesterday. So I'm glad it didn't last a super long time, but it's been a good while since I've had anything like that. So just kind of
Thank God it
makes you.
wasn't COVID.
Exactly, yeah, and it just kinda makes you appreciate being healthy, when you have something like that, so,
Right.
yeah, so glad that's over, but I'm in Florida now. We, left late last night, drove through the night, and, didn't get a whole lot of sleep, so, glad to be here and not, hopefully I don't, I'm actually sitting on a bed right now, so hopefully I don't, like, just kinda doze off. No, but
Yes,
I'm excited for our guest tonight, so I'm sure that's not gonna happen.
good deal. Well, and tonight was kind of one of those nights because there's just been so much devastation the last, several days that it would have been one of those shows where it's like maybe we should put this off. But it's also one of those times where it's like, no, this is the time that we need to do it,
Right.
to come together and band everybody together. Um, because we have a lot of women on the tour that are in those states. And
Including yourself. So,
right, and
I was glad to
we
hear
had,
that you were okay.
thank you, and we luckily, I mean, we had really really bad weather. We had some trees down, and we had the bad wind and all that stuff, but nothing like what you're seeing. My internet's acting really weird, so if I'm, in and out, you know, sorry about that, but nothing like what we have been seeing. And, thoughts and prayers to everybody that has been, through this. I know we have a lady on Taurus Secret. I know that you're not probably watching this, but thoughts and prayers to you. Thank God you guys are okay. But a lot of the fishing states were involved in that, and it's just really hard when you see, you know, stuff like that. And so I'm glad that we decided to go ahead and keep this on as scheduled because we need positivity, um and good news. And so I definitely am excited for this guest as well. She's amazing, first of all, but I'm excited to for her to talk about what she's got going on, for next year too, because I it's very good to hear about positive plans and female anglers and just the excitement and stuff like that. So it'll be a good show for everybody.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I know that you had a couple of things to announce. One being your show for tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out for the Woman Angler and Adventure podcast episode that's coming out bright and early tomorrow. So when you're on your way into work, you can tune in on any of your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple. We're on Amazon Music now,
Nice.
anywhere where you can get podcasts. And so I had the opportunity to interview, and it's fitting I'm in Florida, but had an opportunity to interview a Florida Fish and Wildlife officer, Susanna
Nice.
McAllister, and she's actually a recruiter for the FWC. So if that's ever something you've ever kind of daydreamed about having a career in the outdoors in a state like Florida that has so many amazing fishing opportunities and wildlife and all of that. It was just a really cool interview to have her on and kind of get her experience becoming
Mhm.
an officer and then also as a recruiter, some
Right.
of the the great things that she's gotten to experience throughout her career. So definitely worth checking out. Even if you're not interested in that, it's just cool to see a lady
Definitely.
in a very male dominated field of law enforcement, and as I guess you call it, game warden of
Right.
sorts. So
Very male dominating,
yeah.
you know,
Y-
field.
yep. And we talk
That's
about
awesome.
that, like how many women are typically in the academy, and what the dropout rates are like and stuff like that. So
Nice. That'll be interesting. And for those of you that don't know, on our YouTube page for the Women's World of Fishing, in the bottom right hand corner, there is a direct button that you can just click on to go straight to Angie's podcast. So you just got to click on it; it'll take you straight to the podcast as well. So
cool.
that's just another way to get to it. So, was there anything else that I forget if there
Nope, I
was?
think that's it. Just I'm down in Florida right now. Like I said, I actually secured my lodging today for the first LBA tournament in March, which is again at Lake Ray Hubbard, like it was last year, a little bit
Mhm.
earlier this time. So we'll see if how that affects everything. It's going to be interesting.
And it's gonna be here. I mean, it seems
It's
like
going to be
it's
here in
right.
a
I
blink of
mean,
an eye.
mhm. Or before
Yeah.
we can turn around, we'll be saying like, "Oh, kickoff tournament, we're leaving next week." Um, but yeah,
Yep.
I totally agree. It's gonna get here before we know it. Um, so okay, there's a couple of announcements um, for today. And one of them was kind of just a continuation from last week's show when we had Michelle Mitchell on the show regarding the Catch a Dream Foundation. And for those of you who weren't on there, um, the when she came on the show, she had already raised almost, actually, it was a little over $20,000 just on raffling off or the bidding on dates. And so we continue to do the raffles, and that was supposed to end on Saturday. However, they decided to go ahead and extend that a little bit longer. So you can still purchase tickets for that raffle. And there are 20 different packages that are being raffled off. And the packages are amazing. If you didn't tune in, there is um, a guided fishing trip for crappie, a two-person crappie trip. There is an AFCO like fishing bib. There is an entire Runkle package with two reels that's in there. A package from Cowboy Coffee Chew, from Bounty Hunter Turbo Buzz, from several different plastic bait makers. Like there's just so many things that are in there, and I know that they've sold, I think it's like $1,000 worth of tickets. But she was doing so good. She wanted to continue to raise the money for that. And so they're gonna try to extend it until Thursday. Um, so here's what the prices are: $5 a ticket, $20 for 5 tickets. This is where you can send the money for Michelle. That is her Cash App, and this is her PayPal. If you do not follow her on TikTok, make sure that you put when you send her the money, that you put your telephone number as well as your name, not just like your email address, but your real name in there, so that if you are announced as the winner, she has another way to contact you other than through TikTok, because they're going to do the raffle live on TikTok. So that's how you're able to do that as well. If you have any questions, either send me a direct message through Facebook Messenger, um, TikTok, or some other way to get a hold of me so I can put you in direct contact with Michelle to so she can answer your questions, because I just know the very basic for that. The other one, the other announcement is for those of you, well, for anybody, and eh, I'm not trying to get everybody to spend their money, but there are certain things that, like, I'm very sensitive and I love people, and so I just put it out there. But for Kate, Grice Huff, that a lot of us know pretty well. She's fished a lot of major events and stuff. I have not actually fished with her, but her story touches us all. And she is actually having a medical fundraising event, that is a nationwide online kayak tournament. And so I did obtain the information from her. And I know there's no way you can get this information just off of your screen right now. So I'm going to make sure that this information, if you want to join the tournament, because I think there's more kayak fishermen nowadays than there are, you know, boat fishermen. If you want to enter it, then you can do that. They're also selling raffle tickets. I haven't seen specific items that they're raffling, but they are doing that. And it is actually the same thing, $5 a piece, or the $5 or $20 for 5 tickets. So it's the same thing. And I did post over here on the comments of the show. I don't know if it already posted or not, but it is in the comments for the show, Angie. Um, that link as well. So, I know not everybody can give. Not, I mean, it's the holidays. It's tough for everybody. There's been so much devastation. Nobody has got to engage in any of this. I'm just passing along information if anybody wants to, or something like that. So I don't want to use the show as just, give money, but, I do want to share. So, Kate, I don't know what to say to you other than you have so many people who love and support you. You are in so many people's thoughts and prayers. So just please know that we think about you. So that's all I've got. And now I think it's time for us to bring Stephanie, the LBAA, Lady Bass Angler Association's Professional Rookie of the Year, if she's ready to come on. Stephanie, you ready? Okay, here we go. Hey, Stephanie,
Hey,
welcome to
guys.
the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? And did y'all survive the storms, I'm guessing?
We did,
Yes,
yeah.
thank
I,
goodness.
uh,
It-
so I live on a houseboat and in Nashville, and they were on the news all night long talking about all the storms coming our way, and so I actually, for the first time ever, wore my life jacket to bed.
Oh my gosh.
And my dog too. I put her life jacket on too because I was like, I don't
Aw.
know, I could fall asleep and not know what's going on, and wake up in an emergency situation, and not have the like wherewithal to put a life jacket on, and the water's cold.
Yeah.
So I, actually slept pretty good. It was like extra cushion.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm sure.
we didn't sleep very well. The dogs didn't sleep very well. Like, my dog was trying to get in my armpit because he was so scared. But it was a rough night, but uh, it could have been so much worse. Like, we were really, really lucky, you know.
Yes, I've been seeing the pictures and the videos and stuff, and it's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I
I mean,
I
I couldn't
something like you,
imagine.
right. It was on the ground for, they said, over 200 miles. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them touch down and go. Like, I
Mhm.
literally can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So we were lucky. And I it's times like this that you just wish you were rich so you could just help everybody, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but the these are the times that our country shows how many good people there are in the world too. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Oh
Like
yes, 100%.
it's times like these where it's like, man, weren't you just cussing each other out on the internet? And now you
Exactly.
like, so
Exactly.
but so you and we just did a TikTok live for like 2 hours less than a week ago, which was super fun. And I had to have you on here. Um So we'll kind of start at the beginning, I mean, this ain't going to be 2 hours because we were just having fun on that, it was TikTok.
Oh yeah.
But kind of start at, the beginning of this year. This was your rookie year on the LBAA. How did you get to the LBAA? Why?
I actually fished the LBAA the very first year that they were ever the LBAA, and
Cool.
unfortunately I had to kind of give up tournament fishing for my kids because
Okay.
being a mom, that comes first, for me. But now my kids are old enough to where I can pursue my dreams, and so I actually took the position of coaching the high school fishing team at Warren High School, and I had 32 kids. Me and Kelly Tillerson did. And that kind of just got me back into wanting to fish. My dog's jumping on me, to wanting to fish tournaments. And, again, it just got that going through your blood. Once you start doing that and you love it and you fit into it, it's what you always want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I got back into LBAA. I told my husband this is what I really wanted to do, and he 100% supported me and signed me up for all of them, and I was ready to go.
He signed you up.
Yes, he does all my scheduling. He does all my signing up for everything that I do. I'm actually fishing 14 total tournaments this year, next year coming up.
Nice.
So, and he has my schedule in front of me right now, and he made me because you tell me where to go and I go and fish it. So,
Can
So
he tell
Stephanie,
me where to Can he tell me where to go and write me a check?
yeah.
exactly.
So
It's nice.
Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you the one with the Cane River tournament last year? You weren't 100% sure if you were going to be able to make it to that or not, because you had another tournament like
Okay, so
immediate.
what ended up happening was, and I'm going to go through the whole emotional experience too that helped me make the decision that I made. So we're at Cane. I ended up, being in 6th place at Cane. And then I found out I was in 4th of Angler of the Year points, and, being with all you ladies and this and that, and hugging each other and just being around each other, all that hype, it's like, oh, we made the classic. Yes, I had another tournament and going on at the same exact time that our classic was, and that was a BFL on my home lake. I was sitting in 60th place in Angler of the Year points, and you needed to be in top 45 to make regionals. Being in top 45, that meant I just needed to go catch a limit. That was it. I gave up that tournament to go fish the LBAA Classic. And so, therefore, that's why I ended up in Tennessee fishing Loudon Tellico in Tennessee, in which I came in 34th place there out of 188. And that's how I ended up there. And, which was a great experience altogether. I mean, each experience I have learned so incredibly much. I mean, it's just hard to say how much I've learned because I will use everything from now on at each lake I go to. So.
That's a tough position, though.
Can y'all
to
hear me
have,
okay?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a tough position to be in, though. I mean, having to pick and choose which tournaments to go to, and you have you're fishing 3 tours next year, right?
I can't hardly hear her. I can hear Angie, but I can't hear Barbara.
I can
Can
hear her
you?
on my end okay.
Yeah.
You can.
What was she saying, Angie?
She was just saying you've got a tough schedule. You're fishing three tours next year. Like that's
Yes.
a lot.
Yes, I am. I'm actually starting the season on January 8th with the BFL on Sam Rayburn, which is my home lake. And then I'm fishing the Brandon Belt tournament, which is 400 teams. It's called the 100K Slam, $100,000 Slam. And me and Sherry Jacks are the only female team as of right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we got into that one. And then I go from there to Toyota Series. And then, you know, the opens, I'm in the Central Open. Somehow I got in there, thank God. But I go to the Central Opens as a pro. April's my first tournament then.
Very
So
cool.
yes, it's a lot of tournaments. I mean, BFLs, Toyota Series, Opens, and LBAA.
So how do you possibly fish a tournament with 400 boats?
This will be the first one I've ever done it with 400 boats. It'll be the very first one. So, but that 100,000, you know, you kind of let's go do it. My home lake, you know, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah.
How do they even let out 400 boats?
Well, we actually get to go put in from wherever we would like to put in with your trailer.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know, when we have like a BFL that's going out of Humphreys Pavilion at Sam Rayburn, you'll have the very first day maybe 260 boats or 250 boats, however many boats. And that's crazy just in a small little area. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're holding your breath that you don't hit somebody because you can touch a boat right next to you. And I'm telling I always tell my co's, I'm like, hey, you know, you're the buffer in between me and this boat. Make sure we don't hit them.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really that crazy. You can walk across boats.
And you don't hold back when you're running your boat. I mean, you're like,
no,
you're like barely touching the water when you're going.
Yeah, I run my boat.
I heard that about you.
Oh yeah, I run my boat. I mean, I grew up on Sam Rayburn, so I mean, we can have 4 or 5 foot swells really easy, and you just drive. You get on top of them and you go. Because if you don't, they're gonna go over you. So I mean, you gotta make a choice there. And plus, I gotta beat people to my spots also.
Right.
I mean, I'm not hating. I mean, that's how you learn. I'm sure that you've taken some waves wrong, and that's how you learn to stay on top of them. You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's
for sure. My very first BFL this last year. I'm sorry, my dog keeps on jumping on me.
Oh no, you're fine.
He's wanting to say hi, I think.
We love dogs.
Hi, buddy. I know, right? We're dog people.
Anyways, the very first BFL this last year, I took on 2 waves and I lost all power to my units, the power to my troller motor. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. Me and my co were completely soaked. It's 30 something degrees outside. And it's like, okay, what do you do at this point? You know, I mean, you have to try to figure it out. So I was like, okay, I'll use my motor and we'll go past this point. We'll let the wind take us past this point and we'll fish this point. It's going to take us on into this cove right here. And that's how we're going to fish. So I ended up fishing the rest of the day like that. I even ended up tying up one time onto a stump where I knew that there was a brush pile. There was a bunch of brush piles around. I mean, I had no choice. I couldn't do anything.
But you know what, though? You know what's awesome about that, though, is how many anglers would have been like, you know what? Screw it. My day's over. I don't have my trolling motor.
My brain was saying that. My brain was saying that. I can tell you that much.
Right. But they, you know, they would have thrown them off so much to where it would have just put them down to where they wouldn't have been trying to, you know, strategically figure stuff out like that. Mm-hmm. You know, it would have just wrecked them. You know, I mean, that one guy, I don't remember what tournament it was in, but it was like one of the FLW, like he was winning an event on the last day and he went home because a guy who wasn't in the running to win, but he was still on the cusp of the cut for money.
Oh, you're talking about Cox, huh? Are you talking about Cox, John Cox?
No, I don't think it was Cox. I don't know. It might have been. I'm not really sure who it was, but as somebody else got to a spot and he's like, "You really gonna do this, man?" And he's
Oh
like, "You know
yeah,
what?
that was him.
Fine." And he literally went home and he was in the lead to win the tournament. And because
Yeah.
somebody went to his spot, he went home. You know.
Yeah. No, I won't do anything like that. I believe that we all can be cordial to each other and we can share a spot as long as you use that 50-yard rule. I mean, there's enough water for everybody. It's how
Right.
I see it. I act like a sportsman. I mean, do the right thing.
Sure.
That's how. I mean, I could
But
be wrong about all that,
But here
there's
you
nothing
are,
for everybody.
like you lose power to your trolling motor and you're like, I'm not going home. I'm going to figure this out and still fish. And he's like, wah, 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 and decides to go home over that. It just, people have got to start learning. I've been saying it forever now. People have got to start learning that women ain't no joke out on the water.
No.
We're tough. If they don't believe us, come to the LBAA event. Some of these companies have got to start coming out to the LBAA events and start meeting some of you girls. Me and you talked about that in sponsorship, about sponsorships and stuff. And one of the things that you told me on TikTok has just been, about getting sponsorships. And we're going to do a show on sponsorships, Angie. Many people have asked us to. We need to
Mhm.
do it. But
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
there's a certain way to do all that, and you and I have talked about this,
mhm,
and it's not just calling somebody up, hey, I want you to sponsor me, and it's really not even a sponsor; it's a partnership. You're partnershiping with these people, and you're helping them. So if you don't believe in their product, you're not going to sell their product, but they also have to believe in you too as well.
right,
So you have to be sellable on both sides,
right.
and it is a partnership. That's what it
Sure.
is.
Yep.
I totally agree. And there's just so many aspects about it, known and unknown, but we're definitely going to cover it.
Yeah,
So
cool. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
you're going to help us with it. He just didn't know that part yet. But
Yeah, my
so
husband did this awesome resume for me, and we sat down together and we put it all together. I wanted to make it as professional as possible because when you're going for these partnerships or sponsorships, whatever you want to call them, you want to be as professional as possible. And so that's how we go into all of this. I'm not one that has a lot of sponsors. I don't really believe in having a lot of sponsors because, like I've said before, the sponsors that I have, I want to believe 100% in their products. I want to be able to say, man, this petite spinnerbait right here is the bomb. It's awesome. I've caught these fish on it. I use it on a daily basis. Or this rod, you can look on my boat and see that's actually really what I use.
mhm,
And I want to be that person. I don't want to be one of those fake people. Just, hey, let's put some stuff on me.
right,
I don't want to be that.
And I
right.
think also, you're busy, like you're fishing all these tournaments, and then the whole other element of it is to be supporting your sponsors and, getting their information out. And if you have too many sponsors, like at some point you lose the bandwidth,
Yes.
you're not being effective for it. And so I think that's why it's really important to just really pick, like what you're doing, picking and choosing the ones that you 100% wholeheartedly believe in. And it makes it a lot easier, one, to
Yes.
take the time to put them out there, but also you're not overextending yourself either.
Yes. And now, don't get me wrong. I need the money to fish. It's all coming out of our pockets right now. I mean,
Absolutely,
every
yeah.
bit of it's coming out of our pockets, and that puts a little bit of stress on you too when you're paying for the Opens and for the Toyota Series, and those
Right.
aren't cheap tournaments. I mean,
Mm-mm.
bottom line. But I have a goal, and I want to reach that goal. And however long it takes me, as long as I'm making progress every single year, I will keep going towards that goal. One no does not mean a no forever. It can be a yes 2 years from now. So,
Totally
you got to
agree.
work hard for it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a
It's not easy.
never-ending type of progression too, you know. But the more you have, the the tougher it's going to be to keep up. And it, like Angie said, you know, if you overextend yourself, how thorough are you going to be with everything? You know, smaller
I
companies.
missed some of that. You're breaking up on my end. So,
Oh,
Angie?
am I on yours, Angie?
No, you're not breaking up on mine, which is super weird.
I know.
Yeah.
She just
I'm
don't want to talk
usually
to
the
me.
one.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to talk to me no more. That's what it is.
Yeah, your face is actually getting stuck in very funny positions. So, just FYI. I
don't
was
know
touching
that
my face a second ago. I was wondering, if it was on Andy's end also.
You're probably like, no, she
But
really
it's not.
does just look like that. I don't believe you, Stephanie, at all.
I hear none of that. Okay, Angie.
She was basically just kind of reiterating the point about having too many sponsors
Yes.
and not being able to, like, you know, fully give them the value that they're expecting from you, and vice versa, basically.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
She's gonna
Cool.
pay for all
I'll
this.
keep being the translator
Okay.
You know
if
what?
I'm
needed.
so sorry, Barbara.
Hopefully, it's not needed.
I don't believe her.
I don't know why.
I don't know what I did to make her mad, but it's something. Okay, so if you could ask Stephanie, like with the vision, the LBAA, you know, for her coming in to get the rookie of the year, like what was the single most like factor that made her so successful for her year with the LBAA this year?
Now,
like what?
I heard all that.
How convenient.
Perfect.
How convenient.
Yeah. It's like the first part was breaking up, and then I could hear the rest of it. So I heard enough where I think I can answer you.
Okay.
Determination would be number one. I will say my determination just keeps me going. But in order to be competitive, you got to be able to catch your 5 fish. You have to, what's the word for it? Dadgummit, I've lost my train of thought. No, that's not the word, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen.
Yeah, he's over there. I mean, you have to go in there and you have to hold your own, and you have to be able to catch your 5 fish, and you have to do it every single time. You know, you don't have to be the best every time. You just have to have a good showing. And I think that's how I got 4th and Angler of the Year, was because, I always had a pretty decent showing, as far as my place was concerned. Mm-hmm. And I kept that up. And, as much as I would love to beat Pam Martin Wells, I mean, come on, we all know we can't beat her. That's like a dream, right? But just goals.
Yeah, what do you mean nobody can beat Pam Martin Wells?
I mean, it's possible, but the woman has like 30, 40 plus years worth of experience. And
I know. And any of us would like to have that talent, because it's not just how much she knows, it's freaking talent.
It is. And that's what all of us are striving to do. That's what we all want. I mean, secretly, we're just like, we're going out to beat Pam today.
I know, right?
Because
let's do this.
Because
first day,
she's just that good. Everybody knows it. Pam is just that good. I'm just.
She was just saying Pam's just that good, and we all know it.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
I wanted to go back to the Cane River tournament, because you talk about, catching your 5 fish, and that, that's what you got to strive to do.
Mm-hmm.
Cane River did not treat me well whatsoever, like at all.
Yeah.
But I remember you happened to kind of find something special out there that a lot of people didn't find. And when you told that story, I believe from stage, about what you did, I just would want you to reiterate that
Okay.
to people that didn't hear it, because that was really cool.
Yeah, Cane River, if you've never been there, it's not very wide whatsoever. I mean, you could see everybody fishing, and I mean, it took 45 minutes to get all the way down river, but you still could see everybody. And that water was about 94 degrees. I don't know if you got about the same thing, Angie, but it's about 94. And something that I've always learned is if you have any kind of running water running into the river, it's going to change the temperature just a little bit, right? Well, I was pre-fishing with Sherry because she goes and pre-fishes with me. And we're fishing around this point, and I hear something. I'm like, I hear some running water. Oh my gosh, I got to find this. And so we go around the corner and around the other corner. I'm like, holy cow, that water was like 85, 86 degrees. And it was just a little water coming over this little wall because, all the little creeks were kind of dammed up, at this place. You can remember. And so I could see on my 360, my Humminbird 360, that there were fish sitting there. And there was a lot of brush there too. So what I would do I call it boxing it. I would be here, then I would be here, a different presentation every 20, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And that is how I caught my fish. I mean, I stayed there on top of it. And the first day I messed up and I should have stayed there because I caught my 5 fish there. And I was like, no, I got to go find a bigger fish because, we're in to win a tournament.
Right.
You got it. At some point, you have to get it in your mind, I'm here to catch big fish. It doesn't matter if I get in 6th place. I want to win. And so I had that in my head, but it was just a bad mistake. I ran 45 minutes away, wasting my time, and so day 2, I was like, I'm staying on this spot, period. And it was funny because some of the ladies was coming up to me and saying, hey, I went and got on that spot after you left. How in the heck were you catching them? Nobody could figure out how I was catching them there. And I mean, it was so simple. It's a Texas rig. I mean, it's so simple. It's just, you have to give them a different presentation sometimes because they'll get used to seeing one thing. So when they do that, hey, box them up. It's not going to be the same. And so that's basically what I did. And I had my limit by 9 o'clock that morning, I think, on day 2.
That's
and
awesome.
We sat there and we just caught them. But unfortunately, they weren't getting any bigger. But it was fun, though. Right. It was a good time.
That's great.
So
Angie's like, yeah, it was a real great time.
And then, the classic.
That wasn't my experience at all. But that's okay because I learned.
Yeah, it was a very, very hard place to go. I mean, it was a hard place. And Ray Hubbard was hard for me too, as well.
Me too. Yeah, that was probably my second toughest one of the whole year. So
yeah, it was hard. And then, we were at Hickory, kind of, I did something kind of similar there too, as well, and kind of got away from everybody. And I'm one who likes to travel. I don't, I'll get the heck away from everyone, because that's how I learned how to fish as a little girl. My dad always said, anytime we could see other boats, we're not fishing here because I don't want them to see us catching them or whatever. So that's kind of just how I learned how to fish. And so I go out looking.
And it don't take you no time to get there because you drive so fast.
Yeah, because I drive so fast. Yes. My nitro will go fast.
So how long will you sit on a spot will you sit on a spot all day? Do you, we kind of touched on it on TikTok, you won't?
I'll repeat it. I think you broke up. So
She's lying. She
was asking, would you sit on a spot all day? Or how long would you sit on a spot?
It just depends. I mean, really, honestly, there's a lot of things that go into that. What kind of fish am I catching there? Are they decent sized fish, or have I caught decent sized fish there before?
If the winning fish are there.
If the winning fish are there.
I would what I would have done was try to figure out what times they were biting there, period. Because if you practice there, you should know the times that they're biting. Are they biting at 9 or 12, 1? They're going to be biting at a certain time. It's not going to be probably an all day situation. So that would probably be one of my spots based on time when I think
Okay.
they are feeding.
So
You
like
know,
a window, like a
if I
window
don't get a
type
bite in
thing.
an hour, it's hard to say because I get a little antsy. I'm like, man, I go to the second place because I can always come back. I'm known for that too because I was doing that at our last tournament. I go back to where I know where there's fish. If they're not biting in this hour, well, I'm going to go hit some more spots and I'm going to come back and let's see if they're biting then. But it's a time game. I mean, unfortunately, bass feed at certain times, and you got to figure out what time they feed and what spot, and you got to plan your day accordingly to that.
Boy,
So
that's
hopefully
tough.
I answered your question.
No, I mean it does, and it's some people believe in windows, more than happenstance, and it just depends, on the person, and I think it depends on lakes. I think different lakes fish different. I was just really curious, um, mainly because you really are consistent no matter where you are. So it was just
That's the word I was trying to remember a second ago. Consistency. Consistency is the key, I think, to everything when it comes to any tournament, at all. You don't have to win every tournament, but be consistent in what you're doing. And if you're consistent, you'll continuously keep moving up because not everybody can be consistent all the time.
I
And,
totally agree.
it just, you figure out what works for you and you do what works for you. Just because, let's say Barbara does something a certain way doesn't mean she can hand me that same exact rod and that same exact bait and I can use it the same exact way.
Right.
We can throw the same things and you may catch them and I may not. And so that's when you kind of go back to you do what works for you.
Yeah.
And that a lot of what you're talking about is what makes me kind of laugh at the people that say, all this technology we have coming out now, the 360 imaging and the live scope gives people an advantage.
It
You
does.
learn, you definitely learn more than what we've been able to see or know before, but there's still so much more that goes into it.
There is. I just got a live scope and, as y'all know, I had surgery 4 weeks ago on my shoulder and it was all tore up and bicep surgery and they cut an inch off my collarbone and cleaned up my AC joint. So, I mean, it was a lot, but I've actually gotten to fish twice since then. And the last time I went fishing, I caught that big fish on Rayburn. And that was exciting. It made me totally forget about my shoulder. And then we also went again yesterday. And it's all because I'm trying to learn my live scope because it's something so different. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I know how to read my 360, but how can I apply my 360 and my live scope together to get a full view? I didn't have that kind of stuff growing up. My dad would stick a rod in the water and see how deep it was.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it was, You look at the land and you try to figure out what's different on that land and how it's going to go into the water. And is there a ditch coming here? Is there a creek coming in here? That's how we fished. And so you put all those things together along with the 360 and the live scope and you have that full picture. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to learn. It really is. And the live scope just makes me mad, I think, more so than anything, because I can see my bait and then I can see the fish, and then you can either see the fish turn on it or swim the other direction.
Right. Or follow it and not do anything.
And you're like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
but
and
so far, so good.
That's actually what I was going to say about the live scope and the 360 and all that, because I mean, those are just so expensive. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, I can't get it. So I think it's cheating for everybody else to have it. Like, I'm not one of those people. If you can afford it, go on and get it, because there's a lot of people that I think it's going to get in their head, just like what you were saying, where it's like, now that fish is looking at it and he's going to bite it.
Yes,
And they're going to
100%.
almost like bed fishing. because
Yes.
people will sit on a bedfish
And
forever.
when they're not even locked on either. You have to know when a
Right,
bedfish is locked on and when they're not.
right. And if they don't bedfish enough,
Mm-hmm.
then to know, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
then with the live scope, I think for a lot of people, it almost can be detrimental because they're like, oh, well, they're reacting to it. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. And before you know it, 8 hours is gone and they're screwed, you
Yeah.
know?
100%.
So,
To me, the live scope isn't really good for shallower water. You know, you kind of
yeah,
got to rely on yourself for that because you're not going to get really the image that you're wanting to get. You may see a fish swim by or something like that, but where it's a game changer is when you get on those tops, you know, those Christmas tree tops or whatever's down there, a rock pile, you know, trying to catch some smallmouth. That's where the game changer is at because you will be able to see, okay, I see my dog. I see 5 smallmouth sitting on this rock pile right here. Let's, you know, put my bait down there and let's watch this. You know, that's where it's a game changer.
yeah,
But I think people will probably try to use it in the wrong spots, the wrong type of techniques. You know, it's definitely used for a certain type of stuff. And, you know, that 360 is just as important. Like I said, at Cane River, that's how I caught my fish. I could see them. I could see exactly what was down there. You know, I can see a lay down when it's coming. I know where to throw. I mean, that's definitely a game changer, and it has been for me. But I spend countless hours on the water trying to figure out these electronics. Do I think it's all 100% fair? No. I would love to see tournament anglers do it without all this because I know there's so many people with a lot of talent and they can do it without all this. But it's come so far, you know, the electronics have come so far. There's no way to ever go back. You either have to
right.
join people or you really can't compete because you can't compete against somebody that has all of this stuff and like you have just the regular depth finder or fish finder is what they called it. You know, you can't, I mean, yeah, you can probably go catch fish, but they're going to have an advantage. So you
Mm-hmm.
either join them or, you know, you don't. And I just have chosen, you know, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to make myself better and try to put what talent I do have with this talent. And at certain points, it needs to be a cutoff, though. I don't need to be sitting there looking down 24/7. It
Right.
needs to be, you know, I still got to use what talent I do have, you know, which is fishing. I need to get out there and fish because that will always be there. You'll always be able to fish,
Right.
you know, but
Well,
I don't
and
know.
it also says what the water temperature is. You know, the depth finder also says the water temperature. So it's pretty much
Yeah.
what I use mine for.
Yeah, our
So,
water on Rayburn it's 64 degrees right now. It's pretty warm, actually. So those fish were actually up really shallow, about a foot deep. So it was a good day.
ours is the low 50s right now. They're like,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's getting ready to go into the high 40s. They're pretty much non-existent right now. I'll see them in
Yeah.
April. But I'm used to it. That's how it is every year here, you know. But
Mhm.
all of our smaller lakes will freeze over,
Oh
but we're
wow.
not like the ice fishing people, you know? Like we're not
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, where's the hard water? Where's the hard water?" You know, we don't have that stuff,
Those
you
Yeah.
know.
silly people.
Well, yeah, right? Yeah, that's
Just go to Florida. You don't have to worry about that down there.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I would
Uh,
totally go to
I
Florida.
don't know what the water temp is where I'm at, because I haven't been out like
Mhm.
actually on a boat or anything, but
Mhm.
I saw so many fish today. I'm so excited to get out
Oh
there. I don't
man.
even know what kind of fish they were, but I don't
Who
care.
cares? Go catch them.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining the show. Delete, delete. I
So
was just going to cut you off.
So speaking of technology, Stephanie, have you ever used the hydrowave or had any experience with that?
Well, I have been in boats with it, and they claim it works really well. I can't say whether it does or it doesn't because my experience was not any different. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, that's not something I'll be getting. I don't want that. I'd rather have some bigger units in front of my boat or, something like that. But, you know, but you do you have one, Angie?
I don't.
You don't?
No. I've just watched a lot of videos about it and stuff,
Yeah.
and just
I just really can't. I mean, people claim it works really well, but I haven't seen it yet.
now I probably could benefit from it if I still am running the Key West next year,
Uh-huh.
just because I feel like that boat's a lot louder
Mm-hmm.
than a bass boat, and
Yeah.
it could maybe be beneficial in just masking some of the boat
Oh,
noises.
yeah. Yes, very much so.
But
Very much so. See, I play music too when I fish. That's probably
do
another
you?
thing y'all probably have heard or have heard me playing music. Heck yeah. I always have music on.
So that might be your hydrowave right there.
Yeah, right there. And it's a certain type of music because bass, they don't like rap and stuff like that. It has to be some country music.
There you go.
So
Who are some of your favorite country artists?
let's see, Ryan Bingham. He
Oh
plays
yeah, I
on
love
Yellowstone.
yeah.
He's one of my favorites. Corey Morrow, George Strait. It can go on and on. A lot of Texas country.
Okay.
So,
Was Ryan Bingham, he was the one that had that South Side of
yep,
Heaven.
yep,
Yeah, I loved him. When I
yes,
worked in the music industry, he was one of our artists that we booked.
yeah.
Very cool.
Cody Jinks. That's another
Oh,
big one.
I love Cody Jinks too.
I like him a lot. Love his voice. But yeah, I have a whole fishing playlist.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and that's what it's called, fishing playlist. So, yeah.
Should put it up on Spotify and share it with us. And then
Yeah.
at the next tournament, I'll play the same thing and we'll see if my results change.
Yeah, I sing in the boat also. Cassie, Hall and I got paired together.
Oh, yeah.
And she and I sang the whole day. And we sang the whole 2 practice days too.
That's awesome.
I'm sure everybody was looking at us like, what the heck are they doing? But you
I
might as
bet
well enjoy.
Yeah,
I
you
bet
gotta
that
have
was a
fun.
blast.
Oh
Gotta
yeah,
have
I
fun.
listened to AC/DC during takeoff too.
Oh, cool.
Every single time, it doesn't matter which tournament I'm at, it is blaring.
One particular song or just
No.
okay.
Just I like AC/DC. It's a good takeoff music.
AC/DC
So
at takeoff and then country music during the day.
AC/DC at takeoff and country music during the day.
correct. Yeah, correct.
Cool.
That's how it works. A little weird.
Stephanie. I don't know why she can't hear me.
I don't know. It's a little weird because usually if somebody freezes up, it freezes up for the other
For
people
both.
too. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
don't
she's
know.
pulling my leg. She's like, I talked to her enough. Not tonight.
Well, it's been very awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really enjoyed, learning some of the other things, like the whole music thing. Didn't know that, so very cool.
Well, I'm a creature of habit. I mean, I even wear the same necklace that my son gave me, and he loves turtles, so it's a little turtle, and I wear it when I fish. And it's just one of those things. It has a little pearl inside of it, and you make a wish, before you put it inside the turtle. And so I let my son make a wish, and I don't even know what it is, but I wear it. I wear it every single tournament. So I mean,
Cool.
there's just certain things that make you comfortable out on the water. I talk to God when I'm out there, and it's the best blessing in the world to be able to be out there. So.
And then, I'm sure that has a lot to do with building up your confidence. We've talked about that a lot on the show in the past, is it has so much to do with your confidence level, and so all those little things probably play into that for you.
Yes, 100%. 100% it does. I like to do things the same way almost every single time. I'm not saying fish the same exact way, but it's just the things I do when I get up in the morning to when I get in my boat to, how I am with my co-anglers. I absolutely love every one of my co-anglers. I'm friends with everyone that has ever been in my boat and still talk to them on a daily basis. I've been schooled by my co-anglers before on Smith Lake in Alabama. with a Ned rig. And I was like, instead of gas money, can you give me some of those? I had never used one at the moment, seriously. But, I always buy extra stuff too for my co-anglers. If I'm catching them on something, I'm going to give it to my co's as well, because I'm not against my co-angler. We're not fishing against each other. If I'm missing the fish, it's my responsibility as a pro to hit all those spots first. I mean, it's my responsibility. If I don't catch them, go ahead and catch them. Catch them behind me. That's what you're supposed to do. But, I'll even give them the same baits. But, that's just how I am. It's just, I feel like I should be doing my job. And if my job's also helping to guide them too as well. But also, I still got to worry about myself all in the same amount of time. So.
Absolutely.
Well, are you, Angie, you'll can you not hear me?
Uh-oh.
I want to know if she is, if she's pro banana or against a banana. No bananas in her boat. Superstition.
Did you hear that?
I
at
heard
all?
nothing.
Okay.
No, one more.
So
I
I was kind of thinking this too when you were talking about the necklace and stuff.
Yeah.
So what Barbara was wanting to know, are you superstitious, like bananas, no bananas? That
Yeah,
sort of thing.
nobody's gonna put a banana in my boat.
Oh my gosh, for real?
I will hunt you down.
I'm on the same page as you.
Oh
No bananas in my boat.
man.
Yes, I am. I am a little
See?
superstitious.
Me too.
See, you can't
Barbara
do that.
Barbara, I think, ate a banana for breakfast the last time we went out practice fishing and got skunked. So I blamed it all on that.
Well, I have this thing too. So if I'm having an awesome practice and everything's going my way, you will not catch me on Facebook saying I had a good practice.
Well,
no way in heck, because what will happen is day one will not be very good for me. It's just how it is. So I kind of prefer to keep it to myself, unless I catch a really big fish that deserves to be shown to the world. It's different. But I prefer to keep it to myself. Just because I don't want to jinx myself.
Right. But I mean, it's a banana. A banana.
That has a proven history
No,
of
it doesn't.
wreaking havoc.
It is so fun. See, but now,
100%.
like, if I'm competing against you, like, if
You know
I
what
went,
she sounds like? You remember the music back in the 80s where it would go, I don't know. Like, the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what she sounds like.
Scratching the record.
Yes. Yes.
hey, they got paid a lot of
Yes,
money.
that's what it sounds like.
Okay, well, interpret this for her, Angie. If I switch over to a boater, I can get in her head like that. If she's superstitious about a banana, I'll go by, I'll throw it on Angie's boat, Stephanie's boat, Secret's boat, Robbie's boat, and I'll be like, I'm so gonna win.
So, do you hear any of that?
No.
All right. This will be a great thing to end it on, I think.
Okay.
She says if she switches over to a boater, she's going to be able to get in all our heads because she's going to drive by our boats and throw banana in our boat right before the tournament starts. And not just you and me, but Robbie and Secret and
Linda
and a few others.
Everybody. Good luck.
Well,
everyone.
I'll see her coming and I can outrun her.
There you go. She will never be able to throw a banana far enough to catch you.
Nope. Sorry, Barbara.
You don't know what boat I'm gonna have.
You don't know what boat she's gonna have, she says.
Yep. I guess I better get mine tuned up.
Yeah.
Make it faster.
Actually, it wouldn't matter because I could have a bullet with a 300 horsepower and it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't try, but
you wouldn't be able to compete if you had a 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's not allowed.
I wish I had a 300.
But
I wish I could compete with one.
I could hide it in your boat the night before and be like, Stephanie, check.
I didn't hear any of that. But what comes to mind real quick before I know we got to get off here is when we were in Alabama And I had to take off in 14th, and then I beat every single. I think I passed you too, Angie.
I'm pretty sure I saw you whizzing by
I think
me.
I even waved.
And what was funny is I was just bragging that morning, the day before, because the order was reversed.
Yeah, it
That
was
like
reversed.
I actually passed like 3 or 4 boats, and that I don't usually do that, you know. And so I was like, man, that was pretty cool passing these other boats. Then there goes Stephanie like whizzing by me on day 3. I'm just glad you didn't go to my spot, even though my spot didn't produce that day. Uh, I was hoping it was going to, but it
Well, you
didn't.
did you had a very, very good tournament, Angie. We're very
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Yeah, thank you. I was proud of myself on that one. I put a lot of work into it, and it kind of
And
proved to myself like that extra work pays off, you
yes,
know.
and
And
you will do
so
very well next year.
I
You'll
hope
do very
so.
well. You will.
My goal.
You will. You'll do
So,
great.
well, cool. Well, thank you, and it was a pleasure
Yes.
competing with you this year, and I
Yeah,
can't
me
wait for
too.
next year.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I will see y'all at the first tournament.
Okay. And everybody down below right here, Fishing with Stephanie, crushyourlures.com, 10% off of your orders. Put them in before Christmas. Great.
All right.
Oh.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Okay, adios, y'all.
Yes. Everybody have a good night.
All
Have
right.
a good holiday, and we will see you soon.
All right. Good night, everybody.